In the business world, opportunities come in waves. Opportunities in the business world come in waves. Some build fortunes, while others wash them away. These cycles are as inevitable as the tides, shaping industries, economies, and lives. During the tech boom of the early 2000s, many entrepreneurs found themselves riding a massive wave of digital gold rush. Companies were being sold for millions overnight, and new wealth was being created at an unprecedented rate. For those in the right place at the right time, selling a business seemed like the ultimate success. Lucrative buyout offers rolled in. 6 figures, 7 figures, numbers that could change a life in an instant. But the reality of wealth is often misunderstood. $1 million sale doesn't mean $1 million in the bank. Taxes take a slice. Stock options can be worthless. Poor investment decisions drain what's left. The illusion of wealth often fades faster than it was acquired. The illusion of instant wealth. Take Alex, for example. In 2001, his startup, a fledgling e-commerce platform, was acquired by a major corporation for $5 million. On paper, he was set for life. Champagne flowed at the closing dinner, friends toasted to his genius, and media outlets hailed him as one of the new titans of Silicon Valley. But behind the scenes, reality hit hard. After taxes, legal fees, and broker commissions, Alex walked away with less than half of the original sum. Eager to enjoy his newfound status, he splurged on luxury cars, a sprawling home, and extravagant vacations. Within 2 years, his funds dwindled alarmingly fast. Worse still, some of the stock options tied to the acquisition turned out to be nearly worthless when the acquiring company's shares plummeted during the dot-com crash. One evening, sitting alone in his now empty mansion, Alex reflected bitterly, "I thought I'd made it. Turns out, I just traded my future for a fleeting moment of glory." His story wasn't unique. Thousands of entrepreneurs fell victim to the same trap during the tech boom, mistaking short-term windfalls for long-term security. The allure of instant wealth blinded them to the importance of sustainable growth and disciplined financial management. The dot-com bubble. A lesson in hubris. The dot-com bubble didn't just inflate businesses, it inflated egos, reckless spending, and poor decision-making. Companies that once thrived on innovation became buried in bureaucracy. Instead of focusing on long-term growth, they wasted money on branding gimmicks, custom merchandise, and endless meetings that produced nothing of value. Consider Sarah, who co-founded a promising software company during the height of the boom. Her team had developed cutting-edge technology that streamlined supply chain logistics. Early adopters loved the product, and revenue soared. Flush with venture capital funding, Sarah expanded aggressively, hiring dozens of employees and leasing expensive office space in downtown San Francisco. But as competition intensified and investor patience waned, cracks began to show. Rather than doubling down on product development or customer retention, Sarah poured resources into flashy marketing, campaigns, and lavish launch events. Revenue stagnated, customers grew frustrated with neglected support requests, and within months, her once thriving startup collapsed under its own weight. Looking back years later, Sarah admitted, "We got caught up in the hype. We stopped solving problems and started chasing headlines. By the time we realized our mistakes, it was too late." Where others saw disaster, sharp entrepreneurs saw opportunity, but where others saw disaster, sharp entrepreneurs saw opportunity. When a company mismanages an asset, its true value can plummet. Something once worth millions can become a bargain buy, available for a fraction of its former price. This is where the strategic mind sees beyond the chaos. With the right vision, a dying business can be reborn stronger than before. History is filled with examples. Companies like Apple, Marvel, and Airbnb have all faced near-collapse moments, only to be revived by those who understood their core value. Apple. From near bankruptcy to global dominance. In the mid-1990s, Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy. Years of mismanagement and lackluster products had eroded consumer trust. Steve Jobs returned to the company he co-founded, slashing unnecessary projects and refocusing on innovation. Under his leadership, Apple introduced groundbreaking products, like the iPod, iPhone, and MacBook, transforming it into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Marvel, turning bankruptcy into blockbuster success. Similarly, Marvel Comics teetered on the edge of collapse in the late 1990s. Burdened by debt and struggling to compete with rival publishers, the company filed for bankruptcy in 1996. However, savvy executives recognized the untapped potential of Marvel's intellectual property. They pivoted from traditional comic sales to licensing characters for blockbuster films, culminating in the creation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Today, Marvel is synonymous with cinematic excellence, generating billions annually. Airbnb. Surviving the Great Recession. Even Airbnb owes its existence to adversity. Founded in 2007, the platform struggled to gain traction until the 2008 financial crisis forced homeowners to seek alternative income streams. Recognizing this shift, Airbnb adapted its model to cater to budget-conscious travelers looking for affordable lodging. What started as a quirky idea blossomed into a global hospitality giant. Selling at the peak versus buying at rock bottom. The lesson. Selling at the peak isn't always the smartest move if what's being sold still holds long-term potential, and buying at rock bottom can be the ultimate power play, if backed by knowledge and a clear strategy. Imagine James, a seasoned entrepreneur who watched the dot-com crash unfold from the sidelines. While others panicked, liquidating assets at fire sale prices, James saw opportunity. He purchased several struggling tech companies for pennies on the dollar, stripping away excess costs and revitalizing their core offerings. Within 5 years, he had transformed these acquisitions into profitable ventures, earning far more than he ever could have during the initial boom. Knowing when to ride, jump off, and dive back in opportunities are constantly shifting. But success isn't about catching the first wave. It's about knowing when to ride, when to jump off, and when to dive back in when the tides change. A strategic mindset. Successful entrepreneurs approach opportunities with a strategic mindset. They ask critical questions. Is this trend sustainable, or is it a flash in the pan? Does this asset have intrinsic value, or is it propped up by speculation? Am I prepared to weather downturns, or am I betting everything on short-term gains? By staying grounded and adaptable, they position themselves to capitalize on both rising tides and falling ones. Your turn to navigate the waves. So, where do you stand? Are you riding the crest of a wave, clinging to fading momentum, or poised to seize a hidden opportunity beneath the surface? Remember, history shows us that every collapse creates fertile ground for rebirth. Whether you're building, buying, or rebuilding, the key lies in understanding the deeper dynamics at play. Don't let fear paralyze you during downturns, or greed blind you during booms. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, stay ready. Because, in the ever-shifting landscape of business, the next big opportunity might already be forming, waiting for someone with the vision to see it and the courage to act. Will that someone be you?